today's topic on the vagus nerve. I'm Nicole from Nourish with Nicole Holistic Wellness. I'm a mindset and a gut health coach because I believe the two cannot be separated for our health and well-being and happiness. So let's get started on the vagus nerve. The reason I wanted to shine the spotlight on this particular nerve is because it's involved quite a lot in our rest, digest and repair, in helping to manage our stress, to help us to think clearly and to really dial down our body's inflammation and when we're overwhelmed and so forth. So yeah, this is the main topic for today is just honing in on that vagus nerve. So the nervous system, it's a very broad system because it's broken into different systems. So we've got the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord, and then we've got the autonomic, and then we've got the enteric nervous system, which is in the gut, and that's pretty much it does run solely. It runs on its own. It doesn't need to be controlled by the central nervous system, which is pretty fascinating. That's why a lot of people call it the second brain. And of course, what happens there will communicate to the central nervous system, to the brain and so forth. So let's get started. What is the vagus nerve? So there's 12 cranial nerves, and the vagus nerve is the 10th. And it is the longest nerve, the longest cranial nerve in those 12. And it stems from the back of the brain and it splits into two down either side of the neck, and it spreads out into the thoracic area, into the heart and the lungs, and it goes down into the abdomen, into the digestive system, the gut down here. So it's quite widespread. So why is it so important? Just to reiterate, it helps our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest, digest and repair state. It helps to activate this. It's said to be involved about 75% in this. And this is when we are functioning at our best. It's when the body is able to work at its best. Our organs are working well because we're not stressed, our blood pressure's not up, our blood pressure's down, our heart rate's at rest, and so our organs work the best at that time for healing and repair. And then on the reverse, we've got the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight, flight or freeze. And yeah, our body does work well when we're in that state, but it's meant to be only activated at very short sort of spurts of time. And unfortunately, in this day and age, and we can all be quite aware of this. We know that it affects us, most of us, is because we do perceive stress as we do perceive things as worse than they are, and our brain thinks that we are in immediate danger. So unfortunately, our body will go into that fight, flight or freeze, and it could be anything. It could be our thoughts that are activating that, and that's why the mind-body connection is huge. And it could be something like we're stuck in traffic, we're stressed in traffic, and what we're thinking, and we're becoming a bit sort of overwhelmed, that will activate us to be into that sympathetic nervous system. We want to try and dial that back and hop into our rest, digest and repair so that our body can digest our food and absorb our nutrients, and that our heart is at rest and our inflammation markers are down, or inflammation in our body is down, and we're able to think more clearly. Our blood flow is flowing throughout the body. With the sympathetic, the fight, flight or freeze, the blood pressure is, the blood is moved to the extremities. So the digestion slows down because the body thinks this is not what's important at the moment, digestion. And so the blood flow goes to the peripherals because it's trying to contract the muscles to run away. And that is just something that we need to just, be aware of. I don't think we are, but this presentation is just to show you ways of activating our vagus nerve. So how can we activate our vagus nerve to help our bodies? So there's a simple ways, very simple, and I'm sure you're all aware of our diaphragmatic breathing. So when we expand the diaphragm, instead of the lungs, we're breathing up here. We're activating the sympathetic nervous system, trying to get more oxygen into our lungs, to run. So our diaphragm, we expand our diaphragm, and that activates our vagus nerve. And straight away, that should bring our heart rate down to rest, our blood pressure down to at rest as well, that safe pressure. And it has that whole body effect. Chemicals are changing and everything. So the breathing, meditation and prayer, reevaluation of the current situation that you're in, that you feel tense about. So just changing the thought processes in your mind. And cold showers in the morning will activate the vagus nerve. So I've put in here tone. Vagal tone is how well our vagus, it's not a muscle, but just if we activate the vagus nerve more, our vagus tone has been exercised. So it's easier for us to activate it if we work on on activating it more. Our vagal tone will be stronger. So for an example, I was very stressed at work for many years, and also I wasn't sleeping. And I believe I was pretty much continually in that fight, flight or freeze. I wasn't activating my rest, digest and repair. I used to have stomach cramps, and I believe that was because the digestion just wasn't happening. And it was very hard for me to rest. It was very hard for me to calm myself down. So my vagal tone wasn't very good. It was quite low. So the more we activate the vagus nerve, our vagal tone is in a much better state. That's trying to think of other things. So cold shower, meditation, even singing will activate the vocal cords, which then activate the vagus nerve. So those are the top ones. Fasting is another one. Also, when you nourish your microbes, your digestive system, this, of course, we know will communicate with the rest of the body, will communicate with the brain, the nervous system. So the state of our microbes, the diversity of the microbes in our gut, and what we feed our microbes will communicate to the vagus nerve, and then that will associate with how well we can slot into our parasympathetic nervous system state. So I just want to go over just the differences between the two states, the PNS and the SNS. So rest, digest and repair. And as you can see here, this is ideal for us to be able to think clearly, girls, and to be able to make the goals and reach those desires that we want to reach, and also to help heal our body. Believe it or not, when we're in this state, so much goodness is happening within us. Our stress chemicals go down. Our fighting, our immune system is increased. And our mind our brain is at rest, it's settled, it's able to think clearly, blood flow is moving, we're getting those nutrients from the digestion, and it's just incredible. And we do have quite a lot of control, but as I said, it's just repetition. It's just working on sliding into that and doing these little strategies. So when we're in rest, digest, repair, our heart rate's at rest, our blood pressure is at the pressure that it should be for us. Our blood vessels are open, blood flow is happening, digestion is happening, inflammation is down. There's many more things, but I just wanted to mention these because the opposite happens with the sympathetic nervous system. So we are designed, this system is designed to help us to get away from danger. It's also activated when we're exercising to help get things going and to drive us through that exercise program. And then of course we want to try and slide into the parasympathetic nervous system as soon as possible after we've done our exercise. So when we're in danger, or this is activated with exercise, our heart rate goes up. It has to. Our blood pressure goes up to work with the demand that we're putting on our bodies. So the energy demand, it has to be activated. The blood vessels constrict, digestion slows down, inflammation goes up in the body, and of course the stress hormones go up too. And this is different for everyone. Different levels of this is for different people. Some people, they can, they'll go into this and then they'll go out of it quite quickly. The mind is going to be a huge factor in how long we continue in this state. So this is our fight, flight, or freeze. And so this is all I wanted to share because it is quite a big subject. It's quite a heavy subject, but it's fascinating. Just see the nervous systems as communication highways, and everything is communicating, the different systems. So we've got the central nervous system, down the spinal cord, and then all the other systems, nervous systems, will feed into that, will communicate back to that. And whatever we do, whatever we're doing in our day, there's all this happening. And we just want to give ourselves the best chance of being at rest, and this is part of our self-care, and so that we can make those authentic goals that are right for us, and not compare ourselves to other people on their journey, on their way of choice. It's activating this vagus nerve, which will help you to relax and bring down your stress. And if you're exercising, to just see how quickly your heart rate goes down from being up from exercise, because that will determine how well your vagal tone is. So how well that's exercised to be able to flip into your parasympathetic nervous system. Girls, I hope you've enjoyed today, and I am off to Cairns, so I'm excited about that. I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and if you have any questions about any of this, you can pop a comment down, a question, or you can message me privately, and we can just go into this. Obviously, this is all to be given to you, to be taken by you in a unique way, because everything is different for everyone. And if you have any questions about this, or you're worried about anything to do with your symptoms and so forth, then see your healthcare professional. And I will talk to you later. Have a great week.